Okay, folks, we're still in the beta testing phase of Infowars Nightly News as we then put in the systems to deploy what looks like it's going to be an hour-long show every night on select cable and satellite systems. We already have some lined up from Houston, Texas, to London, England, to Nagasaki, Japan, ready to turn it on. In fact, some are already re-editing the daily TV/radio show and airing it, but you're here in the beta testing phase. What happens is some nights we do it live, other nights we do interviews and things that are part of a live show. It's a hybrid. Other nights it's completely taped. And we taped over an hour-long show tonight, right? It's over an hour? Well over an hour. And I end up going so long with guests and so much information that it's not even edited and ready by the time we go live. And that's why probably once a week, it's all about me disciplining myself and really doing a new format of news. You know, up-to-the-minute analysis, up-to-the-minute breakdown, but also teleprompter-free, and it's a lot of fun. This is going even better than I had hoped it would, and we couldn't have done any of this without you, the PrisonPlanet.tv members and subscribers, and we keep making PrisonPlanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com better and better. We're developing apps for it for your Droids and iPhones, like the free iPhone app we have for the radio show that's been out a few years and has 4.5 stars. That's free online. There's also a lot of Droid apps that folks have made out of the goodness of their heart out there. I'm always getting customer service calls, though, here at the office about free Droid apps and stuff and Android apps, which we didn't make. They're out there. We love them. They just don't work as good as the free iPhone app we've got because we hired a company to do that. But you know, the issue here is this is a labor of love, and it's having a big effect. I mean, your support and the effectiveness of the truth is a testament to the power of the human spirit to reach out to people. And it's a testament to how many people we're reaching that we've been able to build this facility, which itself is only a launch pad. And that's why we've got the money bomb coming up. $500,000 for the average person out there sounds like a lot. And it is if you don't have 35, 40 people working for you and a, I don't know, 16,000 square foot or a little bit under that facility and all the equipment we're having to buy so we can get the live feeds out to you better and the archives better. And we've got to put in the satellite uplink systems. We're looking into fiber optic system, be able to get it to cable and TV. See, it's really easy when you have cable and TV if you're like on Fox News. And it's distributed all over the world. It's on a bunch of satellite systems. But if you do it a la carte, the reason you don't see a lot of alternative media on cable and satellite, even though there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of channels, the reason you don't see that is because if you're not having a big network put you on the dozens of satellites and fiber optic systems to deliver it out to everybody, I mean, there's a cost associated with that. Like, I've got all these networks and all these systems all over the world that would reach tens of millions, but it would cost over $1 million a year just to be able to deliver it to them. But now they're coming out with more and more fiber optic systems. I'm giving you some of the backstory here that goes up to sharing hubs that still are subscription. You got to pay thousands and thousands a month, and then it's thousands in the transfers every month to get the stuff up there. And it's in real time, too. You can do live. I mean, it's about 2 seconds delayed. And it has even a lower failure rate than satellite. It just costs more than satellite. In fact, look up, you can go down, if you're in a big city, and get an hour-long satellite feed if you want. It's just going to cost you about $1,000. So it's cost prohibitive. And, of course, COINTELPRO knows how people work, people's limited knowledge of hardware and society. And so I'm sure they'll ferret out what fiber optic system I'm paying to be on. They'll figure out what satellite system I'm buying a feed on, and they're going to track. Obviously, it'll be globalist owned, and they'll say, look, he works for the globalist. He's on this satellite. I mean, again, that's how the enemy works against us. But in a way, that separates the wheat from the chaff, because, unfortunately, really stupid adult people are the ones that, you know, believe stuff like that. It's just a funny story that I can foresee the issues I'll go through. Even if I can get the money to do all of this, then I have to then be persecuted. They'll say, look, I saw Alex on my local cable system. Or I saw Alex on my local, on my satellite feed on channel 2000 and something. He must be New World Order. Even a couple of years ago, I had a pretty big satellite channel. Was it Dish or Direct? Because I've talked to both of them. A channel ready to put on my daily show and pay for the feed. And they got told, we'll take the rest of your channel away. They had 24 hours. They wanted me to be on 3 hours a day if you do this. I was talking to one of the British companies, and they just got word from people that work there that they were planning to put me on, and they got threatened. You heard about Press TV was on in England. That's the Iranian English channel, and it's on in the U.S. It's been taken off. So this whole internet kill switch, this whole media kill switch system, it's coming. That's why I meant to do this years ago, but it takes time when you're doing radio, doing TV, getting all the work done, to then build new systems while you're breaking stories, doing research, making films. And I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you where we are. We realize the challenge of where we need to go in the future. And we are stepping up and taking that challenge and going into the future. And we're doing it because of your support. Now, continuing here in some news, because there's stuff hits the cutting room floor every night that I just don't have time to get to, or that I don't give the guys to make graphics for. And it's only when I am live that I can get to this stuff. And again, it's 16 after, 7:16 on the atomic clock. Central time here, not that time in Tokyo or Bangladesh. But over here with the document cam shot, I wanted to show you this article because it really illustrates what I was talking about last week, or a week and a half ago, where now 100 miles, if you have the United States, it's a crude United States, maybe more of a Texas, 100 miles in, which is all of Florida, 100 miles in fact, I'm even being conservative, it's more like that, this area, they claim, well, there's a Constitution. But all of this area, it's roughly it's about 40% of the country. In this area, by the way, most of the population lives on the coast and in these areas. Within this area, in fact, you can even Google Constitution free zones and pull up the actual map. Instead of the U.S. is more like that. There we go. Inside this map, they claim you have a Constitution, but now TSA is setting up checkpoints in Tennessee and Michigan and Colorado and Georgia and Boston, but I guess it's on the coast. Now they're doing that too. See, first, we only violate the Constitution around here. And I pointed out that they hire illegal aliens to build the fake border fence. That's come out. Janet Napolitano makes them legal when they arrest them. If they're from Mexico, because there's this agreement to merge the three countries. If you're from Russia or Venezuela or wherever, they put your butt in a camp. You do not get amnesty. But it's outside of law. Obama can't just do this. He's not king, but he says, I'm just going to ignore federal law. And it turns out that they keep persecuting Border Patrol. It was Compion who was getting shot at and shot back and shot the guy, so he went to jail. And boy, do they beat him in those prisons. And there's been another case of this. He put the guy in handcuffs and he wouldn't get up, so he just picked him up. And I can show you videos of me being arrested where I didn't even do that, and they were grabbing the handcuffs and lifting him up. And you know what? I do think police have gotten too accustomed in the training to jumping on you with their knee. But my point is that only in a selectively enforced issue, an illegal who they admit in the article had a backpack of cocaine. He was resisting, and this is, by the way, in front of a bunch of witnesses, and they've now admitted who perjured in testimony since this guy was convicted. That's all in the article. It's in a bunch of articles. Grabbed him because he wouldn't get up by the hands, what they do, and make you get up. No injuries, by the way. They had a medical check. All he had was strap bruises from the giant pack of cocaine reportedly on his back. Now, my point here tonight is that they're using, I mean, this happened 15 years ago. My grandfather died 6 years ago or so, but he got mad because he was driving around out in the hill country, 100+ miles in. Border Patrol pulled him over. You know why? Because he was driving an old El Camino he liked and wearing a cowboy hat. And I guess, in a way, I guess he kind of looked like a Hispanic immigrant in a way. But the point is they pulled him over and asked for his U.S. citizenship and stuff. He was real mad about it. The point is this has been going on for a long time. But now, because they want to get rid of the borders entirely, they're just going to use the Border Patrol as a police state power grab excuse. And look at this article on the Washington Times. And it's in a bunch of other newspapers as well. U.S. border agent jailed for improper arrest of suspected drug smuggler. But for immunity to testify, the government dropped the charges. It's admitted a giant pack full of cocaine. And again, I'm for drug decriminalization. The point is, I see this stuff every week where they are persecuting Border Patrol if they actually stop people on the border. This doesn't happen to any other cop. A cop stoves in a black, white, Hispanic person who's a citizen's head, shoots them in the back, they don't get in trouble. But you do something wrong to an illegal alien. Police have admitted they don't arrest illegals for drunk driving. No insurance. That's been in the news. They're above the law because the government wants to incentivize them coming here to drive down wages and work for the Democratic Party to vote against the Second Amendment and other things. Let's continue. U.S. border agent jailed for improper arrest of suspected drug smuggler. U.S. Border Patrol agent has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for improperly lifting the arms of a 15-year-old drug smuggler suspect while handcuffed. I mean, I've been arrested 4 or 5 times, and the cops usually ram my head into the wall for no reason or grab my handcuffs. I actually have a tear in my shoulder from the cops. You've seen the video when Bush had me arrested for asking a question where they were wrenching my arms up. In what the Justice Department called a deprivation of the teenager's constitutional right to be free from the use of unreasonable force. Now listen, this is what I always say you should charge the cops with when they actually do you wrong. Agent, but this guy, it turns out, didn't. Agent Jesus E. Diaz, or Jesus E. Diaz, Jr., was named in a November 2009 federal grand jury indictment with deprivation of rights under color of law. This is what the Constitution says when a cop violates your right. They should get in trouble. But see, it's only selectively enforced. Color of law during an October 2008 arrest near the Rio Grande and Eagle Pass, where cops get shot every month, Texas, in response to a report of illegal immigrants had crossed into the river with bundles of drugs. The guys in the dark, they tackle these guys. The guy won't get up. They lift him. No, he was not hurt. He was not hurt. This is admitted in the article. The cop's getting 2 years in jail again. The cop that shot the black kid in the back who was in handcuffs, who done nothing and then lied about it, got a year in jail after riots. He wasn't even going to get charged. Cops stove in the head. People all the time don't get in trouble. But you touch an illegal alien, it's because they want that border open. One way, not going the other. But you're 98 miles in with your family, and they're looking at everybody through the window of your car. And you're like, you think I'm from Mexico? Yeah, pull over, we're searching you. They got a drug dog. You want to search for drugs. Not drugs, narcotics. Remember that video? I mean, this is how dumb they think we are. Look at this. In a prosecution sought by the Mexican government and obtained after the suspected smuggler was given immunity to testify against the agent, Diaz was sentenced last week by U.S. District Judge Aaliyah Moses Ludlam in San Antonio. The Mexican consulate in Eagle Pass had filed a formal written complaint just hours after the arrest, alleging the teenager had been beaten. It's legendary how Mexican cops beat up Americans that go down there, how they shake people down. I've watched my dad driving the speed limit. Boy, does he. It's annoying. Pulled over and money demanded. I've been on a Mexican tour bus, big fancy one, driving around the pyramids. Cops, military pull over machine guns and shake the driver down. He comes on and says, I hope you give us tips. He just took all the money we have. I mean, what's our government do when you're down in Mexico in some dirt-floored jail? Nothing. Listen to this. Defense attorneys argued that there were no injuries or bruises on the suspected smuggler's lower arms where the handcuffs had been placed. No bruising resulting from any alleged knee on his back. I mean, that's standard. You can be peaceful and the cops are going to jump on your back. The point is, that is wrong. But I've never seen them prosecute people for this. Photos showed the only marks on his body came from straps on the pack he carried containing the suspected drugs, which again he was given immunity from. Border Patrol agents found more than 150 pounds of marijuana at the arrest site. And it goes on to near cocaine in one of the bags, but I may have gotten that wrong. It's marijuana. I thought it said cocaine here. I don't know if I have time to read the whole article. Point is, I'm for drug decriminalization of all of this because that's what makes the people do this. That's what puts the money into it. So it's marijuana, not cocaine. It's in another case of a guy got in trouble with cocaine. Wait, let me read the whole article here. The council said other witnesses made contradictory claims, and some later admitted to having perjured themselves. Some admissions, the council said, were ignored by the court and the government. It also said that probationary agents who claimed to have witnessed the assault raised no objections during the incident and failed to notify an on-duty supervisor until hours later. Instead, they went off duty to a local Whataburger restaurant, got their story straight, and reported it hours later to an off-duty supervisor at his home, said the council. Then the witnesses went back to the situation and reported their allegations. Yeah, they got their story straight. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I have had cops slam my head in the wall for no reason on camera. I've had them beat me up at the Austin jail for no reason for a protest, some redheaded runt guy. I have had them on video with the handcuffs when I'm not resisting, cranking my arms up, trying to hurt me. No one, all right. Are we ready to go to the show now? Here's some of the other vaccine news I didn't get to. Unsurprisingly, Libya, that means Al-Qaeda that runs it now, asked NATO to stay until end of year. The Al-Qaeda leaders want them to stay and keep bombing because there's a civil war there now. Civil war of folks that don't want to go under Saudi Arabian control. So I've seen some Saudi Arabian-linked lobbies now attacking me. You got to love that. Continuing, Obama to Leno, Libya, a recipe for success. And I'm not going to show the video here. I may do it tomorrow. But a recipe for success, the grinning shill, international terrorist president of the United States, talks up the regime's atrocities on the late-night comedy show with the host, audience, and millions of people out in TV land going along with it. Holy bleep, the writer says. To me, Obama's recipe for success looks and sounds like a child with the lower half of his face blown off. There's a video there. Boy, it's chilling. A little bitty child. The child's horrifying screams emerged through a pulpy, gaping cavity where his mouth and jaw used to be. But hey, so what? Fighting Al-Qaeda by putting them in power. You shouldn't watch the video if you know what's good for you, but it reminds me of the words of Harold Pinter. It never happened. Nothing ever happened. Even while it was happening, it wasn't happening. It didn't matter. It was of no interest. The crimes of the United States had been systematic, constant, vicious, remorseless, but very few people have actually talked about them. You have to hand it to America. Well, that is the corporate globalists that seized us. We were just the big engine. They took us over. We're the big war horse, folks. We're ridden. It has exercised a quiet clinical manipulation of power worldwide while masquerading as a force for universal good. It's a brilliant, even witty, highly successful act of hypnosis. This is why the sack of expletive president can sit there and talk about saving civilians as their shredded bodies gurgle and shriek in terror. Even while it was happening, it wasn't happening. And they go into AP talking about the great peace. They've killed over 40,000 innocent people now there conservatively. And it's only going to get worse. Oh, by the way, speaking of Germany and the whole EU grabbing of the pension funds they're now announcing to pay the bankers, they flip it and blame Greece. They say Greece has the debt when Greece isn't even part of the debt. They're the cutout for the derivatives. Now they're saying they're going to take the insurance, because they don't actually have, like the U.S., I guess, they have some reserves, but the insurance on Germans' pensions will now back the trillion-plus euro bailout to the bankers, blaming it on Greece. So they blame Greece, and they flip it back and blame Germans and say Nazi jokes, wrath at Germans, highlight Greek despair. Because they're talking about making Germans pay for it, but also Greeks and everybody else. So they just spin it and say Germans don't want to pay for it. No, Germans don't want to give up their sovereignty completely to the euro, and that's what this deal does. So this is just all part of the deception theory. And they say the dark shadow of German-driven austerity measures squeezing Greece has revived historical enmities and evoked comparisons to the massive destruction of the Mediterranean country at the hands of Nazi Germany over 65 years ago. And again, they know the average person has no grasp of history and doesn't understand they're playing countries off. Well, Greece needs the bailout and Germany won't give it. It's all countries in the euro are going to have to pay into this. It's just Germans happen to still have pension funds. So they all make it about divide and conquer while no one's looking at the banksters that did this. See how they work? See how they think you're stupid? Learn about this instead of football plays or soccer garbage. Not that football or soccer are bad, but when your country's burning down around you and they're putting microphones and cameras and light poles, that's coming up in the report, you've got to get serious and get agendas straight. I'm not saying going to a baseball game's bad, but if your house was on fire, would you just go, oh, it's on fire, I'm going to go to the baseball game? I'm going to leave my dog and kids in there. Our whole society is burning down around us. Other reports we've got on the flu, children may be given death-linked anthrax shots under bioterrorism scare trials. This is stuff that admittedly killed our U.S. troops. They're now admitting that flu shots never protect you, never did protect you, and actually reduce your immunity. We have some graphics on that, I was told, so we can go to those. Because you guys were saying, it's a good thing I'm doing live tonight. There it is. Flu vaccine less effective than once thought. While the vaccine does work, and that's not true, actually, and still recommended to be used, it does not demonstrate the kinds of efficiency or efficacy levels we have reported, said the report. No, you actually look at it, it reduces your fertility, doubles your chance, one flu shot, of catching the flu the next year. So you add that in the equation, it makes it worse. They're just taking the one aggregate of only 12% of the time they actually guess the flu strain, so it's not really worth it. I mean, just a load of unmitigated baloney. All right, folks, you're going to get over an hour and a half tonight of Infowars Nightly News. Okay, that's just some of the news that we didn't get to, but we did get to because we ended up doing this live part up front. So we're going to go ahead and go to this transmission now. And please, if you're a prisonplanet.tv viewers or you're at InfoWarsNews.com, I want to remind you, we allow the sharing of the passcode by 6 people. That means that if you have a membership, you really get 6 memberships for the price of 1. Look, I would have, guess how many streams I'd have free if I had the money and everything. You know how many streams I'd have free? You know what that symbol is? In fact, I'll do it even bigger here. Okay? I would give you that many streams free. Here, I'll try to do it a little bit neater, okay? I'm usually good at writing. I'm not very good at an infinity sign. Because you notice that it's not, the infinity, I'll give you a docucam shot here. The infinity sign is not 2 circles connected to each other. No, the infinity sign is a loop. See, that's how many free streams I give you, infinity. But instead what we're offering is 6. And we could offer even more free streams with the amount of members we have. But the operating system of the system that serves it itself, the actual website, can't handle it. Notice that's why some of you, when you log in right before the show, you have trouble for a few minutes because everybody logs in right at 7 instead of a few minutes before. And so the system's trying to say, man, we've got 100,000 people or 50,000 people, depending on the night, trying to log in right now, 2 minutes before. So everybody gets the football game right there at the end of it. And, you know, I mean, right at the start, at the end of the wait. And so we could even give out more free if it wasn't for that. But please share your passcode, share your username. Make sure it's not one you have for other important stuff because we just want to get this word out. And I forgot to add, I plugged this once on the radio for like 10 seconds today. We're offering 15-day free trials at prisonplanet.tv right now. So tell everybody you know about it because, again, we're just trying to get the message out to people. We know they're putting cancer viruses and sterilants in the vaccines, food and water. We're just trying to warn people. That is our only goal here. And so as viewers of this transmission, as true alternative media standing up against the establishment, please spread the word about the 15-day free trial at prisonplanet.tv. And also send your username and passcode out to your friends and family because that 6 people can log in with the same username and passcode at the same time. At the same time. All right? it's really more than 6 free memberships. Just if more than 6 get on at once, you'll be locked out, and that's why. And if that becomes a problem, just change your username and passcode and tell folks you had to change it because too many were using it. And then give it out to people again, but tell them not to share it. And hell, if we get some $5 million donation, I think they pay for bandwidth, wouldn't it, for like 5 years unlimited, or who knows? And no, I don't know about infinity. They'd shut us down before that. All right, that's enough pontification. Evil is rising, but for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Let's go ahead and go to the full transmission. A lot of great work the crew's put into this. And I'll see you, Lord willing, back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central on the radio. And, of course, back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central with Infowars Nightly News. Remember, if you're watching or listening to this transmission, you are the resistance.